Namaste, everybody, and welcome to this collaborative effort, DM Astrology, Dr. Dharmesh Mehta and Kṣaṇāti Jyotish. We are here to discuss different aspects of Dharma, Lagna, Ascendant, first house, fifth house, ninth house. It's such an honor to have you again to share this time together, Dr. Dharmesh. Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste, Kanya ji. This is our second attempt to be joint video. And today also, as earlier, we have given something unique about the Dasha. Now we are going to give the something new dimension about all the 12 ascendant, sign, whatever the people say. And whatever their physical, emotional, and spiritual aspect of their own characteristic. Everybody knows something about their own characteristic, but they can't explore it. So now today we are going to tell them that what potential they carry, and accordingly, if that bring enlightenment to their life, then they will reach to efforts to be done. So let us start with the Kṣaṇāti. You can start with the Aries, and then I'll put my input.
Thank you, Dr. Dharmesh. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to discuss these unique aspects of Dharma and the 12 Lagna, 12 Ascendant. First, we talk about Mesha, which in English we call this Aries. This is the ram. Now, we can always talk about strengths and weaknesses, but anyone can look this up upon the internet and find this. Anyone can, this is basic, but on more deeper level, what is the Dharma of the Aries Lagna? What is the Dharma of the Aries Lagna? Now, it's important to note that Mesha is ruled by Mangala, Mars. So there is a connection between Mesha and Mangala. And this connection is very deep and it's very spiritual. Because of this rulership of Mars, we can think of Mars as a commander, a director, or general, and we can think of Aries as being the greatest knight, or the greatest prince, or the greatest soldier in the army of Mars, in the army of the great Mangala, Kujaya. So in this sense, there are certain dharmic aspects which I like to focus on with Aries Lagna. First is that sometimes in life, we say that we take 2 steps forward, but then we take 1 step backwards. And this is very common for people with strong Saturn in their chart. This is very common with people with strong Shani in the chart. It's not strong always steps forward. We have to deal with different setbacks and adversities, but this is not the way for Mesha to live. This is the poison of Mesha. This is against the Dharma, because the Dharma of the Mesha Lagna is to keep on going. That means to take 1 step forward and then to take another step forward, and then to take another step forward, and they don't want to take steps backwards, and they don't want to look behind them, and they don't want to regret. They don't want to think about what would have, what could have. Their energy is very progressive in the Dharma, which is to keep on moving, which is to keep on advancing, and this is very important. When the Mesha Lagna has certain challenge in the life, this will be very difficult for them. Any kind of setback, any kind of adversity, any kind of delay, this is very difficult for their health. The second energy of the Mesha Lagna is that on a dharmic level, there are the first energy that does what needs to be done. Okay, so this is a dharmic aspect. If you're a Mesha Lagna, you are here to do what needs to be done. But that is not always an easy thing. That can also be a challenging thing, because there's always something to do. And so sometimes the evolutionary energy of the Mesha Lagna is to keep on evolving, to keep on progressing, to keep on advancing, and to do everything that you need to do to reach your goal, to do everything that you need to do to reach your destiny, to do everything that you need to do to reach your full potential. But sometimes we would like to turn that energy off, which leads me to my next point, which is that Mesha is in Ayurvedic understanding Pitta dosha dominant Rashi.
Yeah.
So
Very true.
you have high concentrations of Pitta energy, especially if you're an Aries ascendant, if you're an Aries Lagna. And that's where all of this enthusiasm and passion and action and energy comes from, especially if the sun is in this sign. It is exalted. And if it is in good position, person will be exuberant. They will have incredible power. They will have incredible intensity. So there is this energy associated with this sign, which is about advancement, about progression, but it is Pitta. And so they have to be careful of excessive amount of Pitta. And excessive amount of Pitta in the body means there will be skin problem, means there will be liver problem. Excessive Pitta in the mind means there will be too great of an ego, too much desire for power, too much desire for money, too much desire for name, fame, and recognition. So whenever we look at the Dharma and the Lagna and these different energies, we see all the beautiful sides of the rainbow, but it comes with certain challenges. It comes with certain difficulties. So we're looking at a lifelong evolutionary energy. So that's what I would like to share about the Mesha Lagna, and I would love to hear, Dr. Dharmesh, what you would like to share.
Yeah, very deep insight you have put. Now, viewers has to understand that this is a ascendant or sign. See, many people get confused whether I have to see this as my moon sign, being Aries, or my ascendant sign. See, you have to see both. If your moon sign is there, all these characteristics is your emotional nature, emotional level. And if it is your ascendant sign, that means that is your physical nature. Everybody have its own physical nature, bodily, and everybody have its emotional nature. That is our mind, mood. Many times moods change, but body remain constant. So here, those having a Aries as a moon sign, they will take this interpretation on the mental level, and those who having a Aries ascendant, they will going to take this as a physical aspect. So that broad category we should not repeat again and again. So viewers has to understand this. Now starting with the Aries, I must say that this is a Kalpurusha ascendant, because the Kalpurusha start with the number 1 or Aries. We can say both, and that is why in my experience of 30 years, I hardly see 100, 200 people of entire 4,000, 5,000 horoscope I've seen. Many few people of Aries ascendant I've seen in during my life having a problem, because all the things are in the right place. Their head is in the first house there, and this is a very unique ascendant whereby everything are systematic. Now you see I always judge the chart with the 159, because except the 159 house, rest all are the material house. Whereas 159 is always first house, fifth house, and ninth house is a real spiritual house or karmic house, I believe. Because one is your own body with the soul, fifth is your past deeds, and ninth is your future deeds. Means what you are going to happen. Whatever the deeds you have brought, the deeds you are going to appear, first house, and what are the deeds, the effect or the fruits of your deeds, that is a ninth house. Now considering the Aries, here the first house is having a movable sign, as you have rightly described that he is having a movable. One step ahead, then again one step ahead, like a movable continuity. So he's to this life deeds will be always movable. There are two type of karmic deeds are there. One is your fixed deeds which nobody can change, and one is your moving deeds that you can slightly change by your awareness, by your spiritual level. You can turn certain deeds. So this Aries people, being having the Aries sign in the first house, they can somewhat turn their some karmic deeds. Being a Mars in the first house, that's a strong determination they have. If they think that I don't want this, they will not do this. So somewhat a movement in their karmic deeds also happens. Now their past life, we see the fifth house as a past life, that the Leo sign is there, and that is a fixed sign. So they brought the fixed deeds from the past life. Their past life deeds are fixed. So here in this life, they try to move certain fixed deeds into the movable. And by efforts of the past life fixed deeds, this life movable deeds, in future what they will going to happen, the future will be a dual. In ninth house they will be having a Sagittarius sign, and due to the Sagittarius sign they will be going to enjoy a dual kind of a deeds. So whatever the past life deeds, whatever the present life deeds, they both can be joined together into their future deeds. So that is the next life. So this aspect of dharma trikon, because we call this 159 as a dharma trikon as per the Agni Tattva, because it's a fire element. Due to the fire element, the first house, fifth house, and ninth house is always active. These Aries people, it change in the Leo, it change in the Sagittarius, because there 5 and 9 got changed. Where here he's having the first house as a movable deeds, so he can move certain things because of his strong desire, Mars, strong determination, Mars. And fifth house is having a Sun Leo sign. That means they are having soul awareness in the fifth house, but that is a fixed karmas, and that they turn into the movable, and with somewhat the fixed, somewhat the dual, they are going to carry in the ninth house, that is the next life or future life. They are going to carry both in the proportionate. So that will be the my inputs about the Aries. And one has to see the aspect of 159. Rest all the parts, the second house, third house, fourth house, sixth house, all are material house. Whereas only 159 is a house of a spirituality which goes with you with every life. This life turn into the ninth house turned into the first house turned into the fifth house, and fifth house turned into the ninth house. So one has to always see these these three house lord, how they are placed each other. We are not putting any planet at the moment. We are just giving a bare knowledge so that at least people can see the chart in the bare and open level. When the planet enters in the sign, they somewhat manipulate the sign, but otherwise the basic structure will remain same. So that is my belief. You may continue with the Taurus, sir, now.
Dr. Dharmesh, that is beautiful the way that you describe not just the physical constitution, but how it relates to the karmic manifestation in this lifetime and our spiritual evolution, which will lead us into our future lifetimes. I found that absolutely breathtaking. I also want to add on to what Dr. Dharma said, that if the Aries Lugna and you're looking at full evolution, also Sun and Jupiter position are going to be significant, because fifth house ruler is Surya, and so Sun Nakshatra, Sun position, very significant for Aries Lugna, connected to the Dharma. Important to look at Sun position, and also for the ninth house, which is spiritual evolution, Sagittarius is ruler, which is Jupiter position, and also Jupiter Nakshatra. This will be also very beneficial to understand even more layer of Dharma as well for Aries Lugna.
Yes.
Dr. Dharmesh, you please will start with Taurus. Rishabha.
Yeah, now about a Rishabha or a Taurus, either moon sign or the ascendant sign, those who having. Now here the second phase start. I believe that Aries is a nature sign or Kal Purusha Lagna. From Taurus onwards, the manipulation started, or we can say the materialistic has just entered. Because Aries people are purely, you can see that they are very straightforward. As you are given the example of Ram. See, Ram is always on the group. They always follow the instruction. They always go into the group masses. From Taurus onwards, start going alone. See, Taurus, we should not forget it's a Venus sign, and Venus is a highly selfish planet, whereby the people start thinking about themselves. Now, Taurus people are carrying the fixed sign in the ascendant, fixed sign in the ascendant. In fifth house, they have a dual, and in ninth house, they are having the movable. Now, see, the total triangle has changed. Now, this change has made that this life, this person having a fixed karmas only. He will only follow the fixed karma. What he brought from the past life, he brought both, because in fifth house there is a Virgo, Kanya Rashi. Kanya is a dual sign. Dual includes the movable as well as fixed. So he brought the movable karmas, he brought the fixed karmas. That both he has brought from the past life. Now in this life he will follow the fixed karma only, because you see all the fixed sign is appear in his kendras. In his 1, 4, 7, 10 house, all the fixed sign has occupied, and due to which his all the life center of his life will be the fixed. He is having a fixed house, one spouse, or fixed people he will face, and fixed type of karma he is going to do. Very little variation of 1, 4, 7, 10 house. So because of this, what will happen, that he will complete the deeds of his fixed karmas of past life, but balance with the movable deeds he will not able to touch, and that all the movable deeds whatever he has not touched, that will he will carry to the next life. And that is why in the ninth house he'll be having a balance of entire movable things only. So this person born in the Taurus ascendant will in next life, in the next life he'll be in the movable work, and that is why he will complete all his movable deeds in the next life. See, many times when client comes, they always ask, what the deeds I have done, why I suffer. I have not done anything wrong to the people, but why I am suffering? He is suffering, or he is getting benefit also. It's not always a matter of a suffering only, but he is suffering or he is getting benefit because of the fixed deeds what he has done, and now his fixed deeds are paying him. Movable deeds are only few time. It has a very short lifespan. So those who are born in the movable sign having this life as a very movable and rotation wise work. So this Taurus ascendant people will be having a Venus in the ascendant, so they are always self-centered. They will only follow their instinct. They will only follow what they like. They will not adjust with others. Being a fixed sign, they will only complete their past life fixed deeds, fixed karmas only, and he will carry forward to his next life only a movable deeds which he will not touch in this life. In his this life, many things his like, dislike, his all the choices will be fixed. He'll not make any compromise. He will apply his mind for completing the past deeds, because of fifth house, the Mercury rules, but he cannot able to touch the movable things, because that is a certain rule that will be in the next life. So I feel this, the Taurus ascendant people enjoying their fixed karmas and completing their fixed karmas with the people, and by which they are only balanced with the movable karmas, and that will immediately complete in their next life. Normally the Taurus ascendant, we always give the example of Lord Krishna, and he has completed all major deeds because it's only second last uh, avatara, because after Krishna, Lord Krishna, only one avatar is left now. So this is a life story about the Taurus ascendant. We'll continue in the Gemini. But you put your inputs now.
Dr. Dharmesh, the spiritual perspective that you bring on the karma and the evolution of the person is absolutely brilliant. And when we look at Vrishabha ascendant or Taurus, which is the bull, as mentioned, it is a fixed sign and it's ruled by Shukraya, which is Venus. So these people have influence of Venus coming over their chart in a very strong way. Now, this means that there are certain aspects of the Dharma which if they are misunderstood or if they are misused, can be very difficult or can be very challenging for the person. Now, the first thing about the Dharma of the Taurus Lagna is that they need stability and security. I'll often say that nothing in their life will have any value if it does not have stability and security. And to them, stability and security is everything. Now, on the extreme side of stability and security, you have attachment, you have dependency, you have this idea that you think that you need something, but you don't actually need it. But with the more evolved evolution of Vrishabha, these people are able to enjoy the material world, but they are not attached to it, but they are not dependent on it. In other words, they can have one glass of wine without having to drink the whole bottle. So this is just an example. Now, the other thing that can be misunderstood about Vrishabha is that they have a dharma, which is to acquire. That's the English word, which another way of using this word is possessing. But even when we talk about romantic love, which is associated with some aspect of Venus, when you have found your soulmate, you say, this person belongs to me and I belong to this person. But the truth is that we do not possess anybody else. We do not acquire anybody else. But this is the nature of the Taurus energy, is to possess and acquire, which is why it's good for financial accumulation. It's good for material accumulation. It's good for the accumulation of nice things. It's good for a good marriage. It's good for a stable marriage. All of these things are indicated, which are related to the fixed karmas, which the person has to manifest as the Taurus Lagna in this lifetime. So they'll be working that out. But what I encourage with the Taurus Lagna is to not look at life that possessing and acquiring and having things is a bad thing. Now, it's different if your chart has many moksha energy. If your chart has a lot of moksha vibration, then maybe you can't have as much enjoyment of the physical or material thing. But in general, for the Taurus Lagna, you are supposed to have pleasure in your life. You are supposed to enjoy good things about life. You're supposed to have good food. You're supposed to have good experiences with travel. You're supposed to have good relationship. So it's understanding that we need pleasure, but not too much of it. So this is just some manifestation of the Taurus. Now, Taurus is kapha. It's also earth. So in the physical constitution of the Taurus Lagna, these people can have more mass. These people can have broader structure. Maybe they have large shoulders. Maybe they have broader hips. Maybe they are tall. Maybe they can also be short and stocky. They can be wide. They can be wide. They can be muscular, because this is a strong sign of muscle. So there are many indications here on the physical body of the person being strong. I have a Jupiter in Taurus. I've always had a larger, my body tends to be larger. So the next aspect is the kapha, which is related to the challenging side of kapha, which is heaviness. So this means they can have health problems with obesity. They can have health problems with diabetes. They can have health problems in terms of they have consumed too much food. They have consumed too much drink. They have consumed too much alcohol. They have consumed too much tobacco. So they have to be careful to restrict themselves from these things as they evolve and grow throughout their life. It doesn't mean that you can't have any of it, but everything with refinement and sophistication and moderation, I see that being very strong in the evolution of the Vrishabha.
True. Right. Very much agreed. And then we can move to Gemini. You have very well said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shall you start or should I?
Yeah, I start. That's Gemini. After the Taurus, the Gemini comes. See, first was the spiritual sign, Aries. Second was the material sign, that is Taurus. Now here, there's a confusion. When you are given two things in front of you, one is a material thing and another is a spiritual thing, then obviously you get a confused. What to be select? And the same confusion appears to the Gemini people. And that is why we call as a Gemini as a dual sign. There was a first dual sign. Why it's a dual sign? Why the symbol is given as a male and female? Because here you get a confused. Whether it is a materialist thing, that is a feminized energy, but whether we should go with the spiritual things, that is a yoga. So that is a confusion between the materialistic and spirituality that comes as a Gemini. Very intellectual people, but with the dual sign, they get confused. Here, what happens that their own deeds in this life, they are going to touch both kind of a deeds simultaneously. It's very difficult. I say that it's very difficult that both the things you are going to have in the same life or same platform. Normally, you can follow only the movable deeds which are going to constant change, or whether you'll have a fixed deeds that will be one after another, you'll be facing some events. But where the name of a Gemini appears, and you will see all the big shot, big businessmen, they all in the Gemini ascendant. Why? Because they have a capacity to turn back everything. Many have a story that they have born with nothing, and in the end they reach to the something. All the great businessmen, there are so many examples, we should not name it, but all the people who are very successful from zero to hero is all dual child, and that's also majorly it's a Gemini. Because Gemini is a first movable with the Mercury. Here the Mercury plays a very important role of enthusiasm. Mercury is nothing but enthusiasm, that these people are very crazy. They think that should we go to materialistic only or should we go to spiritual only, and they balance. Keeping this balance is a very important thing of a Gemini, I believe, because what happened, you are this life you are facing both the karmas simultaneously, some part of a movable karmas and some part of your fixed karmas. But what you have brought from past life, that is a movable karma, because your fifth house carries the Libra sign, and Libra we know it's a highly movable sign. So you brought only movable deeds, means randomly deeds you have brought, and in this life that randomly deeds you are converting into the fixed deeds. That is your intellectual level, and that is why Gemini people are called as a very intellectual people, because of the Mercury, because they balance both the things. They only brought the movable deeds, and in this life all the movable deeds also they will complete simultaneously, they will touch the fixed deeds. And by doing the good fixed deeds, see, deeds are not always a bad deeds. Why people only think about the bad things? If your Mercury, if your that house lord is affected malefically, then only you will be inclined towards the malefic deeds. Otherwise, deeds means the deeds. So by converting the past life movable deeds, they balance it, and they start converting into the fixed kind of a deeds by their intellectual level. And in next life, they will not carry any movable deeds. they only carries the fixed deeds. What they have started in this life, realizing a constant change in the nature, but with the stability, and that stability will continue in their next life by keeping the Aquarius sign in the ninth house. See, Aquarius and Capricorn both are a Saturn sign. The difference between the Taurus ascendant and different with the Gemini ascendant or Gemini people are that the Taurus people carries the movable deeds to their next life, whereas the Gemini people, they are carrying the fixed deeds. Here the changes of Saturn sign appears. Saturn, Capricorn is just a movable sign and only own sign, whereas Saturn Mula Trikona sign is a Aquarius. So these Gemini people are going to carry their fixed deeds in their next life, and by keeping themselves into the stability in this life, they enjoy high spirituality in next life. I've seen so many Gemini people at the last, at the end of their life, they renounce the world, or they give their entire property to the nation, to the charity, for all the purpose. That is the beauty of this ascendant, and very intellectual ascendant with the very enthusiasm, always trying to innovating certain things. They know what kind of a movable deeds they have suffered in the past life, and because of that movable deeds, they complete faster their movable deeds and turn into the half of life they. Suppose we think a full life as 80 years, then up to 40 years they complete all their movable deeds, and then they stable and do the fixed kind of deeds in their life, and that fixed kind of a deeds they will carry forward to their next life in the way of a spirituality. And we all know we don't have to introduce the Saturn as a high spirituality. And here the Saturn, not only Saturn sign, but Saturn Mula Trikon sign is here. So this way, the Gemini people, I always give more credit. They are very intellectual. Now, you may put your inputs, and I know you'll be also giving a new dimension to the viewers. Please continue.
Thank you, Dr. Dharmesh. That is great to discuss the evolution of Mithuna. With Mithuna, we are discussing the few different aspects, but one is the twins, a female-male pair. When we're looking at the energy, which is very interesting, is that there's the rulership of Mercury, but Mithuna is Vata. So yes, we have Budaya, which is being a strong influence, but also Vata being a high influence. So Vata is something that stirs the mind up. It stirs the head up. It stirs the consciousness up. So when you're looking at this aspect here, it's about grounding that intellectual energy. In other words, as Dr. Dharmesh mentioned, the Gemini Lugna has some of the greatest intellectual capacity. The question is, how do I fulfill my intellectual capacity? Now, as we get more into the different aspects of the Dharma, which is associated with Mithuna, it's that they have a special, now it's again dual, which means there's lots of different options going on. And with these many different options, that means that the Mithuna Lugna Dharma, as it should manifest in most opportunities, will give the native an ability to be very good at many different things. You know, in life, there's lots of specialists. You're a specialist doctor, you're a specialist lawyer, you're a specialist astrologer, whatever kind of specialist you are. But the interesting thing about Mithuna Lugna is they can be a specialist at very many different things. Now, associated with the challenging side of that energy, they say the jack of many trades, which is the master of, none. Now, right. I think that that's too hard on Gemini, because if it's in very high dignity, they'll be a master of very many different things. It's just energetically, as an evolutionary energy, you're not supposed to be just focusing on one thing. You're not supposed to be spending all your time and energy on one area of research, on one area of study. It has to be diverse. If God is a comfortable word with you, God gift the Mituna Lagna to be great at very many different things. So if God give you many gifts, then it would be a shame not to use those gifts, to just focus on one thing. So as we'll get to Kanya, Virgo Lagna later, and there are some similarities, but because of the rulership of Mercury. But the Buddhi, which is associated with Mituna, it's more spread out. Like the Virgo energy, it can focus on one thing. The Mituna, if I tell a Gemini Lagna, go, do this thing, they will either do it well or B, do the research that they need to do so that they can do it well. So basically, they're above average at doing just about anything, and they're able to use that intellectual capacity. So for the Dharma of the Mituna Lagna, a wasted mind is a wasted life. That's what I say. If you're wasting your mind, you're wasting your intellectual capacity, you're Gemini Lagna, you're not going to be happy. If you're using your mind, have many studies, have many hobbies, have many forms of income, the Gemini Lagna will have very happy and prosperous life. And there's also a strong relationship between Gemini and Aquarius. The dual deed, as Dr. Dharmesh mentioned, the dual deeds in this lifetime manifesting into future lifetime, past lifetime deeds manifesting into fixed future lifetime deeds through Aquarius in the 9th house. So this will be a very significant connection as well. But just in general, that Vata influence, the person has to be careful not to let their mind spin out of control. In other words, they have to keep their intellectual energy grounded. Sometimes the Mituna Lagna, they can go in the rabbit hole. The rabbit hole is like Alice in Wonderland, which means you jump down into the rabbit hole, and this is a place of conspiracy theories. This is a place of radical political systems. This is so you can fall into the rabbit hole as far as your intellectual energy getting focused on something that isn't that supportive for you. So that's just something to keep in mind, to keep your intellectual energy as Mituna Lagna focused on academics, focused on spirituality, focused on the career. There's a strong relationship with technology, and be careful not to get lost in the rabbit hole of the mind.
Right. Great. Yeah, that's a new dimension. Very great. Good. So,
Dr. Dharmesh, will you share on the Karkata?
Yeah. Now it's a Cancer. I don't like the name as a Cancer sign. Kark is still better. Why they put as a Cancer, I don't know. Cancer, I feel, is a cancel. But anyway, that's a certain significance must be there in the Cancer.
The whole English translation of the zodiac system is imperfect.
So we should go ahead with the Karka. So Karka or Cancer, now here material thing has over, spirituality is over, duality is over. Now the new thing has started from the Cancer, that is a emotionality. From the Cancer, the emotion has started, and that emotion we see from the Cancer people and Cancer ascendant. Now, out of a 12 ascendant, Cancer is an exception. Many people don't know what the exception for the Cancer is there. That rest of all the ascendant, you'll find their 5th and 9th house are close, intimate friends. The Aries puts the 5 and 9 to his intimate friends, Sun and Jupiter. Venus in the Taurus put his two great house in the hands of Mercury and Saturn. So rest of all the 11 ascendant except this Cancer ascendant, they all put the 5-9 as a close intimate friends. But this is a Cancer ascendant. Here in the Cancer ascendant, their 5th lord and 9th lord are not a close friend or not even a friend to the ascendant. See, the moon is the ascendant lord. Moon has no friendship with the fifth lord, Mars. It's a neutral. It is no friendship with the ninth lord, Jupiter. It's a neutral. Rest you check all the 12th ascendant except this Cancer. Everywhere there's a whole things where the fifth and ninth are the close friend. Now, why this unique thing has been put in the Cancer? The unique thing is put in the Cancer because these people only follow their own instinct or own feelings. Here, the deeds are given a movable, but that movable deeds are uh, derived by your emotion. So, if your emotion permits, then only your movable deeds will be completing. If you don't feel move emotions to complete your movable deeds, you'll not able to happen. And this is the lacuna also, a part of a lacuna of a Cancer ascendant, and that is why we always say that the Cancer ascendant people have always in the emotion they lose everything. Why they lose everything? Because they are only bound to do the movable deeds, and that out of the movable deeds also they are not able to complete entire deeds, and they are always being more emotions. So if the Cancer ascendant or Cancer moon people, if somewhat come to the practicality, it will be good for them. That's just a compliment for that sign. Now, looking into the past deeds, now in the fifth house, there is a, we know it's a fixed sign, that is a Scorpio. Now, this Scorpio says that the past deeds, past life deeds are all the in the dark, all in the fear. So, this fixed kind of a deeds cannot be moved, and that fixed kind of a deeds will remain there and there only. And due to the emotion nature of this person, he'll not enjoy the fixed deeds of his past life. He'll only touch a part of a movable things only in this life. And because of the balance of a movable deeds in this life and balance of the past life fixed deeds in his next life, you see it's a Pisces. And Pisces we call as a moksha sign. We all called as a, this is the fourth trikon called as a Jala Tattva, and we call as a Moksha Trikona. Four sign Moksha Trikon, 8 is a Moksha Trikon, and 12 is a Moksha Trikon. These all are watery base, watery sign, and Jala Tattva. So they are all a moksha inclination. So these people will not touch any fixed elements or fixed deeds of their past life, only creating certain movable, only touching the movable deeds, and that also they have created by their emotions due to the moon. And after that they will continue in the next life both the deeds what they have created in this life as a movable, and they have not spent anything of a past life of a fixed deeds, that they will continue in the next life. Very spiritual in the next life, but in this life, because in the past life they are highly materialistic because of the Scorpio, that is a Mars. This life they try to have emotions, control of emotions, and not to incline more into the materialistic. They are rewarded by this, and because of this in next life they will only and only touch the spirituality. So this kind of a balanced things I can feel very well in the Cancer. So only the things is that they are driven by the emotion. If they able to control the emotion, they will lead their life very correctly. So that much input I should put for the Cancer people. And just make your emotions at straightforward lines, because you are still confused, and because of your confusion you are creating more confusing deeds that you are going to face in the next life. So that's input about the Cancer. Now, Kṣaṇāti, you can put your inputs to different level of as your flow, please.
Dr. Dharmesh, I could listen to you for the entire day and evening. I am enjoying everything you're saying so much, of looking at the fifth house and the ninth house, and for the present lifetime and future lifetime. This is amazing. I personally always feel a lot of sympathy for the Karkata lugna.
Really, they need. They need.
Uh, Especially if you believe that we're living in the Kali Yuga. Because if you believe we're in the Kali Yuga, then this is the most difficult lugna. Because the Kshetra warrior caste during the Kali Yuga is the strongest caste. And this leaves this energy of Cancer, which in a higher yuga would have a lot more respect, would have a lot more power. For example, you can think of it in terms of our grandmothers. Okay, I know in Vedic culture and in traditional times, the elder person in the family is someone that you always take care of, is someone that you always respect, is someone that you always show love to. But here in America, everyone just throws their parent in a home. Everyone just throws their parent into a retirement home. This is just an example of how the Kali Yuga, it doesn't support this Cancer energy. It's very difficult.
Yes, yes, yes. And one more thing to add is that Cancer is a Mother Earth, because in the Kal Purusha it is a fourth house, and fourth house is our Mother Earth. And that is why you see in the present time, as Rahu is transiting from the Cancer sign, there are so many natural calamities has happened to the Mother Earth. Global warming or so many things has happened during the Cancer. Cancer is our Mother Earth. You rightly say about the grandmother or motherly or motherhood. Very true. Please continue.
It's like the Divine Mother. It's like all of the manifestations of the Divine Mother because it's connected towards the moon. And this,
Moon.
yeah. Now, the deeper Dharma layer, if you're a Cancer lugna, now that we've already expressed our sympathy for you, I believe that the next layer is to understand that your Dharma is unconditional love. And unconditional love is idealistic. Okay, they are certain saints, Rama, Krishna, Jesus Christ, all of these great teachers that represent unconditional love. But we're human beings and we are not completely enlightened, and it is difficult for us to unconditionally love. But so if the Dharma of the energy is the unconditional love, then here's the challenge of being a Cancer lugna. Get ready for a life full of conditions. Get ready for a life full of conditions that will test your ability to unconditionally love. So this is a strong Dharma which is connected. The moon rules the connection between the heart and the manas, the mind. So this connection is very, very strong for the individual. So one of the dharmic aspects is what we call empathic intuition. There are many different types of intuition. People call it psychic energy and it gets a bad name. But what a Cancer lugna does is they feel what other people feel. So people who have very evolutionary strong energies as a Cancer lugna, that they will be able to feel what other people feel, but they are able to protect themselves from negative feelings. People who have very difficult positions in Cancer, Rahu in Cancer, Ketu in Cancer, Saturn in Cancer, when the person will negatively affect their mood in a very great way. It's almost like you have to take a shower just to wash off the negative energy, or you burn a little sage, or you burn a little Palo Santo, or you burn some Googaloo. You burn the Googaloo, and you will purify the space. But yes, it's important to understand that even though the Dharma is unconditional love, life is full of conditions, and it's important to have boundaries. You have to have boundaries, because if you don't have boundaries, other people will take advantage of you. And I see people always take advantage of the Cancer ascendant. Why? Because they are so loving, they are so giving, they are always freely giving from their heart. So it is important with this Cancer vibration to create strong boundaries for yourself so that other people will not take advantage of you. You can still unconditionally love. Here's the last one more point I want to make. In traditional text, it says the energy of the Cancer is to show support and care for your family. So it's a very family-oriented sign. It's connected to the 4th house. So we're talking about Mother Earth, like Dr. Dharmesh said, but we're also talking about our motherland, which is the land that we are from, where our ancestors are from, and also the original tongue that our ancestors would speak. The original, so all of this deep connection to the ancestors, to the family karma. So there's a lot of bringing in family karma and kind of being the one who is working out all of this family karma in a movable karmic way throughout this lifetime. And but it's not just about support and care for your family. It's about showing support and care to anybody that you love. Like after looking at many different kundali, now I understand that it's not just about biological family, which is people that you share your blood with, but it's anyone that the Cancer Lagna has love for. It's anything that the Cancer Lagna has devotion for. You're supposed to show your support. You are supposed to show your care. What's the catch? What's the side note? Do not let yourself get taken advantage of. Have very strong boundaries. And the last thing is empathic intuition. For better or for worse, you're going to feel what other people feel, which means if you get a hug from my guru Amma, you will be taken into a celestial bliss and you will experience pure euphoria. But if you're around someone who is a narcissist, if you're around someone who is selfish, if you're around someone who is unkind, you're also, or depressed or anxious, you're also going to pick up on the energies of that person. So this is a blessing and a challenge, and that's why those boundaries are needed so that you get to take on the good energies when they come to you, but you don't have to take on all of the bad energies that are surrounding you and that you're sensitive to. So that's just what I wanted to say about Karkata.
The name itself, I say that it's a very sensitive name, because whenever people heard that somebody are affected with cancer, that's feelings that come. So that's the same feelings cancer people sign also having. So
it's like I'll say you're a Cancer Lagna, and they'll say I don't want to have cancer.
So that's a misinterpretation of this Cancer sign and Cancer ascendant, and people get misinterpreted of with these two this ascendant. Now moving ahead to the Leo. After the emotions, then the soul got get the evolution. Soul got the power. Now completing the 4 elements. Now again the fire element has come back. Now the difference between the Aries as a fire and Leo as a fire, here what happened, the desire has been suppressed, but the soul evolution has been come out. Being a Leo as a sun, Leo ascendant as a sun, now sun is a king of a planet. The sign Leo is also a Leo animal, that is also king of all the means woods, means jungle, means area. So he is a king of a forest. Sun is a king of planets. So here the inbuilt deeds and the feelings comes out. So even though they have a fixed karmas, because the Leo is a fixed sign, what the Aries people having a fixed sign in the 5th house, they are here in that they are possessing the fixed sign in themselves. Now with the difference of a Leo as a ascendant, they are getting the 5th house as a dual, and ninth house as a movable. Here he will only touch the fixed things and only fixed deeds which comes in the surface of their life. The difference between the Taurus and difference between this Leo is that the Taurus people, even though they touch only fixed deeds, they will choose the deeds which they like. Here there is no liking. Here they are getting the things get the surface. They will be bright into the surface, and they realize that these deeds has to be complete during their lifetime. So Leo people, that is why very dedicated, very disciplined, very well mannered. Why? Because they are aware what they have to do, and they themselves also aware, and they put other people into the awareness also, because it's a sun. Sun gives a light to the entire galaxy, Earth, everyone, and also it's born within also. So these all the Leo people, even they only going to touch the fixed karmas during their life out of their past life. In past life, they have created both kind of a deeds. Being a Sagittarius sign in the fifth house, they have created both kind of a deeds in their past life, movable as well as fixed. But due to the awareness, because Jupiter creates the awareness, due to the knowledge, due to the awareness, in this life, they will only and only focus, because sun is nothing but the focusing, lighting something, or giving the enlightenment. So here he will only and only focus to complete and finish his all fixed kind of a deeds. So he has no choice, but he will, by his own virtue, by his own soul voice, inner voice, he will going to complete his fixed deeds. And that is why in next life there will be only movable deeds as balance. And because of the ninth house, Mars is there, they are going to have a determination in the spirituality. So end of their life also determine into the high spirituality, awareness of a past life, being a Jupiter of a fifth lord, and the awareness of this life, being a sun is a center, sun as a enlightenment, sun as a inner power of their personality. The person are very much enlightenment, and that is why you'll find that the Leo ascendant people will create certain new things to the mankind, to the nature, for the entire benefit. So that is why the Leo people are very strong. They know and aware about their own deeds, and by diluting their own deeds into the good karmas, they will always in the winning situation. The triangle of a fire repeat, but here the awareness come first, and then the materialistic comes later on. So this kind of unique things you will find in the Leo ascendant, with the sun being in the center, backed by the Jupiter, and forwarded by the Mars. 1, 5, and 9. So that is a great triangle of a Leo ascendant people, and they are really a unique people. So this is my addition to the Leo ascendant. Now you can put your lights on the Leo ascendant. Yes, Kṣaṇāti.
That was beautiful, Dr. Dharmesh. Thank you. So we can think of Surya as the perfect king. There could be no better king. There could be no ruler. And we can think of
Yeah.
Simha or Leo as the prince, which is his son, which would like to be his father, who is the king, who is perfect. But again, this is something which we strive for, but is something which is not often attainable. And often when you look at the relationship between Leo, you look at the position of the sun. If the sun is in a very good position as the Leo ascendant, then maybe they can be like their father. Maybe they can even be better than their father. Like the father is famous, but then the son even becomes more famous than the father even was. But if the sun is in difficult position, like it's debilitation, or if it's in the 8th house, or if it's in the 12th house, sometimes that what we're striving for, that perfectionism, it can be an ideal which is hard to reach. It's also, so it's interesting to look at the nakshatra of the sun to see what our soul is striving for. Now, going back to the more simpler layer of it, which is your Leo Lugna, no matter where your sun is positioned, oftentimes when I'm doing chart with someone, they said, "Oh yeah, I know I'm a Leo Lugna, but I'm not a leader. I don't want to be a leader, and I don't want to be a boss." And this happens all the time, especially if Surya is in 8th house, especially Surya is in difficult Rashi, especially if Surya is afflicted in some way, even though that is their karma, their fixed karma, that doesn't mean that that is what they want. It also does not mean that that is what they're willing to admit that their dharma is in this lifetime or has been in their past lifetime. But it is a pitta sign. And sometimes we have to think, is that pitta being expressed in a healthy way? Or is that pitta either over exuberant where there's egotisticalness? Or is the sun in a difficult position and the person lacks confidence and the person lacks pride and the person doesn't believe in themselves? They have no willpower. So it's the Leo position. It's very strong to have the sun energies come in you. The question is how will that facilitate in you? Will you be able to humbly let that energy move through you, or will you think that it's you? The ahankar. The ahankar will say, it is you, it is I, it is me. But it is just the channel working through you on a deeper level with the light from the sun. And this has to do with Leo as well. Now, the other thing is, okay, so not every Leo Lugna is meant to be a leader. But they are meant to be the leader of their own life, which means the commander of their own domain, which means the director of their own life, which means that no one is allowed to have power over them. No one is allowed to have authority over them. No one is supposed to command them or direct them or tell them what to do, because they have fixed karma that they have to do that themselves. So as long as they have someone else in their lifetime which is controlling them, which is dominating them, which is ruling over them and influencing their decisions, this is not going to be connected to their true self. This is not, they don't have to be CEO of company. They don't have to be president of business, but you do have to be the leader of your own life. If you're the Leo Lugna, you cannot be submissive. You cannot be dependent. You have to be independent. You have to be the commander, the leader, and the director of your own life. So that's what I think the leadership misconception is. It's not that you're supposed to be the president of the United States, president of India, president of any country. You have to be president of you. We have to be president of ourselves.
Right. True.
That's
True.
how I feel about Leo Lugna. They must come to realize they are the king of their own life.
Right. Very true. Good, Kṣaṇāti. You always put something new inputs, and that's also very practical in the sense. Now people don't know the practical aspect. They have all the theoretical aspect. So you brought a very practical aspect that touched the people's life. It's a good thing.
Thank you.
Great. Now we can move to the Virgo, that's a Kanya. Right?
Perfect.
So Kanya, as the name says, that the Kanya is a girl having too much enthusiasm. Because you know the boys, if you ask any young boys of 10 and 12 years, what you're going to do in the life? So he has very fixed kind of answer. My father is doing this, I might be doing this. So you have very few choices. Whereas when you ask some girl of 10, 12 years or up to 14 years, She's very enthusiasm. I want to be a princess. I want to be like this. I want to be this. So she needs so many things to be done in the one life. As we have a, now it is not a male dominating society, but previously obviously it was. But now being there's a equality between the both the status of a male and female. Now the Kanya Rashi, this Virgo sign, has a very powerful means in today's liberal and very I mean social life. Now being a Virgo, here again the Jupiter, Mercury has been repeated, but Mercury in the Gemini has a dual mind, whereas here in the own sign, that's a sign of Virgo, Kanya, it will be a Mula Trikona also, and it's a pure sign of a Mercury. So Mercury here having a very good power of its own benefit of its own nature sign, because Mercury is a stable, that's a Prithvi Tattva, earth sign, earth element, and this Gemini, this Virgo is also a fixed sign. So here the benefit of a fixed sign in the Mercury gets very powerful. There in the Gemini, the Mercury is also dual, confused, and the sign also confused. Here, the Mercury gets, the ascendant Lord gets a fixed mind, and that is why with this fixed mind, he will only pursue his fixed kind of a deeds only, and he will not deviated or diverted to any other deeds in their life. Whereas in the fixed sign, we have seen in the other ascendant that they fixed people don't have a kind of choice. Here, he create the choice by his own intellectual level. And the Kanya Rashi, that's a Virgo sign, is called a highly intellectual sign, because here the application of mind, that is a Mercury, is very stable. Whenever you are calm down, your mind work very stable. If you are not calm down, your mind will not perfect, your mind will also move here and there. So that's kind of a stability this person is having in their life, in the sense of a Virgo ascendant. Here they will get the movable deeds from the past life, being a Capricorn sign in the fifth house, but with the awareness of a Saturn, that these are the movable deeds. They will not focus on the movable deeds, but they will only create the fixed deeds. Charity, social, this is a way by which the people are creating the fixed deeds. Movable deeds means they are only feeding for a once while there is a movable deeds. Many people don't really get the answer or meaning of what are kind of a fixed deeds and what are a kind of a movable deeds. If your deeds are, if you have created any deeds which are going to continue for the longer period and which will be benefited for the human being for a lifelong. There are so many scientists, they have invented certain things in the 17th century, 18th century. Now we are eating that fruits. The same thing, here, the intellectual level of a Mercury will be on the fixed deeds. And that kind of a fixed deeds will have a no deadline, there's no duration of ending of certain things. So that things will be continue and continue for a life. So this kind of Virgo people I like, that they are even though knowing that their past life has only movable deeds, in this life onwards they start building up, built up a strong deeds in their life, and in the future, in the next life, they carries the past life movable deeds with their fixed deeds that they have created in this life in the form of a Taurus sign, right? So here the Taurus being a fix, being dual as in the ascendant, and being a movable in this sign. So here the Mercury has a sign of balancing the parts of the movable, creating partly fixed deeds and carry forward the movable deeds. He will continue focus on the fixed deeds, and that fixed deeds he will going to continue in their next life. And in next life, when the Taurus sign is placed in the ninth house, in next life, whatever the good deeds they have invested in this life are going to give pleasure, because ninth lord is a Venus, that all the good deeds are going to be paid. So here the intellectual level works, that the person is aware about his deeds, he aware about the movable deeds of his past life, still carry forward that movable deeds, continuing with the movable deeds, he will be creating the new fixed deeds, and he will only carry forward the fixed deeds. That kind of a high intellectual level the person possesses in the Virgo or Kanya. Here the softness of a Mercury, because Mercury is a very soft planet, even though it is very heated planet. We know that it's very close to the sun, so it is very heated. After Leo, the Virgo sign comes. So that is very heated planet, but still very soft. We see our mind is also very heat. You touch your forehead, it will be always heated. It is more temperature than your body temperature, always. So this is a sign by which the soft Mercury is carry forwarding the energy of the Saturn of our fifth house, and with these two, Mercury and Saturn, they are converting the deeds into the Venus in the pleasure sign. So this Venus is creating the pleasure in the people, and they are enjoying all the fixed deeds what they have invested. The Virgo people invested in this life with the full conscious. They are going to enjoy in the next life all the good deeds only and only. So that's the input of a Virgo from my side. Now you can add your side, and that will be also, I know, I believe that's very attractive. Yeah, continue.
Amazing. Amazing. Just like as Dr. Dharmesh mentioned, Kanya, a young girl, and one thing which the young girl represents is innocence. Another thing
Uh-huh.
which the young girl represents is purity. And when you get into the deeper energy of Kanya, uh, when Dr. Dharmesh explained how strong they use their intellectual capacity to work through their karmic deeds, and that is highly admirable. But also they can struggle with perfectionism. They can struggle with hyper concentration, and sometimes their mind is always active, and they can't turn it off, even if they would like to. Both the Matuna and Kanya Lagna have intellectual capacity. The Buddhi for Matuna is more spread out, so they are more able to do more different things. The Buddhi for the Kanya, it gets very focused. It gets very specific. So they can be the great masters of something very specific that they have a lot of enthusiasm about, and they're very educational, academic, intellectual energy. Now, as mentioned, there's this energy of purification. So there are a lot of challenges that come with the Virgo Lagna, but to note that on a Dharma level, that there is some energy of purification. Why does your mind work the way that it does? And sometimes as a Virgo Lagna, you will like the way that your mind works, and other times you will wish that you could turn it off. So why does your mind work the way it does? It's because the Virgo Lagna Dharma is to improve things. It's to make things better. It's to bring things to their ideal condition. Because when you're using your intellect, this is how you improve things. This is how you make things better. An ignorant, stupid person never did anything to make the world a better place. So we're just talking about us using our intellectual capacity, why, to improve things, to make things better, to bring things to their ideal condition. And that's why the Kanya has this service-oriented energy. It has a service-oriented energy. These people are great in the sense that they can be of service. And maybe that means they provide a service and they can get money in return, but it also means that they're doing seva. Maybe they're in service to their guru or their teacher for absolutely no money in return.
Right.
So but when it comes to improving things and making things better, the Virgo mind, I say they always see the good, the bad, and the ugly. That means they, first of all, the Virgo Lugna cannot observe something. They can't look at something without trying to understand what it is. The way that their mind works, it's always trying to analyze, to understand, to comprehend. So if it's looking at something, it can't just ignore what it's looking at. It has to try to understand what it is. It has to try to comprehend what it is. Now, in the process, one of the great skills of the Virgo Lugna is they take something which is greater and they break it down into all of its individual parts. When you take something which is the big picture and you divide it, which is a mathematical thing, and Virgo like math, but when you take something and you divide it into all of its smaller parts, what happens is you begin to see all of the parts which have been divided, which are now flawed. So the way that the Virgo mind works is that, yes, they will always see the flaw, but that is not a bad thing, because the only way for something to be improved is for you to realize what the flaw is and remove it and get rid of it. If the flaw remains, then it is not going to be made better.
Right.
So you use the intellectual mind of the Kanya to find what is the flaw so that it can be purified, so that it can be removed. Also, the Kanya Lugna know everything which is the strengths. So when they see other people, they see the strengths of those other people. They see the gifts of those other people. They're also good at seeing opportunities. So this is a very positive energy in which they can see not just the flaws, but also the strengths. And to go along with the intellectual, analytical, calculative mind of Kanya, if you take what something is and you remove all of the strengths and you remove all of the weaknesses, then there will be something left which is neutral. Something kind of in between the good and the bad. This is the way that the Kanya Lugna mind works. What is good, what is bad, what is in between. And to have a strong understanding of that.
Wow. I totally agree. So that kind of a balance Mercury keeps. And see our mind. We take our mind, that our mind also contains the both kind of a thoughts, positive thoughts and negative thoughts. When the situation arises, we throw our positivity or our negativity. So that's the outer things which we have no control, but we have a control of our mind and what to present, what to not to present. That sense the Mercury has in the excellence, and this excellency you'll able to see in the Virgo rather than in the Gemini, because in the Gemini it is not with the purity of a Mercury, being it's only a own sign, but not carries the nature, that's a Vayu Tattva, whereas Mercury is a fixed nature. So that fixed nature joined with the fixed sign, so there he will get the more stability of thoughts. Thoughts, we know we have no control over the thoughts, but how to control the thoughts and how to apply it on the right position, that the Virgo people know. So very beautifully explained. Yeah.
And sometimes when the Virgo energy isn't quite balanced, then they're still the same. They see the good, the bad, and the neutral, but they are very set on perfect. So sometimes when the Virgo energy is, let's say, Venus, Shukra, and Virgo, it goes into state of debilitation. Instead of living in life which is gray, which is a mix in black and white, when the energy is difficult in Virgo, you either live in the black or in the white. It's hard to live in the gray.
Right. And that is why it's a Mercury own sign, Mula Trikon sign, as well as it's an exalted sign, where in the peak you apply your mind, where in the peak, in the point of a nib when you apply, that is Mercury. So that's converting thoughts into the sentence, when we call as thoughts, and that you converted by the tip of a pen into the words, into the sentence. That is a Virgo. So that's beautiful things you have explained.
Thank you, Dr. Dharmesh. So thank you all for joining, for everyone who joined us on our installment on the 12 Rashi. We just went Aries through Virgo, and we're going to do a second part on Libra through Pisces. And so I hope everyone enjoyed this first part. Thank you, Dr. Dharmesh, so much. Om Namah Shivaya.
Yeah. Namah Shivaya, Kṣaṇāti. See you soon.